So in this episode, I want to take a look at retweets and the ability to do that. So if I pull up the latest migration, you'll see we added a retweet ID column to tweets in a previous episode. So we're going to just wire that up now. So we can go in here and say that a tweet belongs to a retweet, and that is optional. And then we can also come in here and say it has many retweets, and its class name tweet, and foreign key is retweet ID. So the retweet ID is going to be the parent tweet that you have wanted to repost. And then we can also come in here and say retweets count, and we can say retweets dot count and hit save. Then coming into our tweet component, as we've done for likes and replies, we'll generate a component for retweets. So we'll say bin rails generate component, and we'll call it just retweet. And we can give that the same options then as a like component. So we'll come up the top and grab this adder reader, paste that in. And the other thing is then the likes count, we'll take that, but instead rename it as retweets count and hit save. And then go to the HTML template file. So we can come over here, grab the retweet text and bring that across. And then similar to the like component where we used a button and we used a button to tag, we will do the same with retweet. So we'll say button to, and at the moment we'll just put an empty URL in there, and we'll say method is post, and we'll need to add class and title. Title is just retweet, and then class of flex item center, and we can hit save there. The next thing we can do is replace that 0 with our retweets count, and then just grab a retweet component here, like so. And then if we reload on this, you can see now we've got a cursor because it's a button, although it's not posting to anywhere. We'll make that happen now. So if we generate a new controller here, so we'll say bin rails g controller retweets, and then what we're going to do here is have a create method, and this is where we're going to create our retweets. So we can go into routes and we'll say resources retweets do, or actually only create, and we'll nest that inside tweets. So we load the tweet first. So we'll hit save, and let's go to the retweet component, and we can run bin rails routes and then grep for retweet, and see we get tweet retweets path, and then we can pass in the tweet in there to generate that URL correctly. So we're going to hit save, reload that, it's all working. And then inside the retweet controller, we can create our params. So we can say retweet params. We'll also need a set tweet, where we can look up the tweet. tweet.find params tweet ID, and then we'll just run a before action to run that. So we'll say before action set tweet, and then retweet params are going to be a hash where we have user as current.user. We're going to have the retweet, which is going to be at tweet, and I think we just leave body and everything else blank. So we'll just come in here and we'll say tweet.create retweet params, and then redirect to, and we'll say the tweet. So grab this and we'll redirect to it and say notice retweeted. So if we come back here and reload, now if I go home, I want to retweet this, I'll click that, and that should now be retweeted. But if I reload, we don't really see anything. So I think I need to come down here and go to the console. I'll say tweet equals tweet.last. Retweet ID is nil. Tweet.body is new reply. So it's not actually working. So let's load up our tweet and see what the validations are. So we have validates body presence true. So we're not actually getting the body. So we can say unless and pass a block unless retweet ID.present. So we're only going to run that validation if it's not a retweet. So we'll save that, go back here, reload, and then hit retweet again. And we can see tweets.body is actually a not null constraint. So maybe instead what we'll do here is just copy the body of that tweet across. And it might be good anyway, because if you retweeted something and they were able to go in and edit the text or something like that, that might not be so good. So we'll say tweet.body, hit save, and let's go back, hit the retweet again, retweeted. Okay, so now that works, but it looks as if I have just directly tweeted that information myself. So instead, what we need to do is check if the tweet was a retweet and just adjust the display of our tweet component slightly. So if we look on Twitter and try and find something that's been retweeted, what's with these people all posting original content? So let's go to tweet component here, and where we have avatar and we're linking to the tweet.user, instead we want to link to the tweet.retweet.user. So I think what we want to do in our tweet component is have a method, so maybe do it on the tweet model itself. We'll have a method called author, and we'll say if retweet, then it is retweet.user, otherwise it's user. So we need to make this retweet method work. We can just say retweet ID.present, hit save, and we can go back to our tweet component, and instead we'll say tweet.author. Same here, author, and let's go and reload. Now it comes through as Jack Reacher again, and looks like his, even though it's a attached to me, and if I go and click one of my tweets, find my profile, you'll see that that comes in line with my stuff. So what I actually want to do here is, if it's a retweet, maybe put a wee retweet icon in place, or here say retweeted by, and then put me, so that you can see it's obvious that it was a retweet. So we'll go to tweet component, we'll create another span here, and we can say if retweet, and we want to delegate that. So we can come in here and we can say delegate retweet to tweet. Let's save, and that will make our retweet method work. And in here we can just put by and do tweet.user.name and hit reload. So you can now see by Pete Hawkins. We want to go to hero icons then as well, and just grab like a retweet. Actually, we're already using that icon there, so go to the retweet component, grab this icon, and let's just put this in here, and then we can maybe have margin right of 1.5, and then in here we'll also do flex items center, maybe make it inline flex, and reload, and everything's now not inline. So that's space X3. We might need flex on this as well. Items center, reload, perfect. And then the retweet icon is fine. The retweets count then obviously isn't working on this tweet because, well, I suppose this one hasn't been retweeted because this is my retweet essentially. It's getting quite confusing now. Whereas if we go to this one, it has been retweeted. We probably also want to block out this button if you've already retweeted it. So we want to go to a tweet and create a method called can retweet, which takes a user, and then we can say user.tweets.where retweet ID is ID.any, and we just want to negate that. So we'll take this, go to tweet component, actually go to retweet component, and we can say can retweet, and we'll say tweet.canRetweet, user being current.user. And then if we can retweet, we'll show the button. Otherwise, we'll say disabled. Like that. Let's save. And then reload. So this should now be disabled, which it is. I can't retweet that because I've already retweeted it. I should probably also not be able to retweet my own tweets. Actually, no, that is something people do. Yeah, we'll leave that for now. We'll allow you to retweet your own tweets later, so you can click. It's a retweet still by me. So that just bounces your tweet up to the top, which is fine. I think you do want to be able to do that on Twitter. So that is the basics of how to retweet a tweet with some UI changes around that to showcase that it's been retweeted as well.